Looking back on the year that has been, Erin, could you maybe share some highlights for cattle for the year?
Sure thing. So the cattle market this year has been very different to where it was in 2023. Last year we saw a lot of climate unsurety impacting confidence, which really impacted decision making and turn off, which caused a pretty big dip in the market. This year we've seen a lot more stability, which is really good. There was a bit of a difference between conditions in the north and south, which encouraged trading between states and a lot more use of those feedlots up north. As southern producers weren't able to finish, they were utilising different states, which increased competition and protected that market. We saw a fair bit of steer premium over heifers, and that was consistent over the year, which is really positive. Despite heifer demand being quite low, it was stable, which means producers are stocked up with their restocking capabilities, which is positive.
Fantastic. Ripley, what do you think have been the big drivers of what's happened with the cattle market this year?
I think in 2024, for me, similar to what Erin has just discussed, it's been particularly about confidence. 2023 was a lot about confidence as well, but this year, confidence again has been very influential. When we look at the nature of the herd cycle, the demand pendulum has shifted. So it's back towards your feedlotters and processors. That demand from the restockers just isn't there anymore. Cost of doing business, 2023 market crash, interest rates, highly leveraged businesses from sort of the rebuild period where a lot of people spent a fair bit of money. All of those factors have reduced confidence from the producers. And despite the fact that we've seen some really good rainfall north of Dubbo in the key cattle producing regions of the country, there hasn't been major upside movement to cattle prices, and that's because the restockers aren't driving the market. So one, the pendulum has shifted from the producer demand to the feedlotters and processors, and two, that lack of producer confidence has been keeping a lid on any major improvements we've seen in cattle prices in 2024.
Great insights, Erin and Ripley. So how does that play out on AuctionsPlus, Oliver?
Yeah, thanks, Natasha. I think what we've seen actually, compared to the volatility of the last few years, is just a lot more consistency in pricing online. I think if you look at the young cattle indicator from AuctionsPlus, it's held steady really for the last 12 months. The recent rain in the last couple of weeks has seen the prices improve as well, and hopefully that continues into the new year.
Fantastic. And weaner sales have obviously kicked off. Everyone's all excited, keeping a close eye on the market. Could we get some thoughts on that? We might stay with you, Oliver, and how's that playing out on AuctionsPlus?
Yeah, I think I'm always hesitant to try and predict where the market's going to move, but I think that rain I spoke about before has seen a really great start to the summer for the northern months, and that could really drive some demand in those areas. So we could, I think, see a lot of cattle moving north of the border through those sales in January, and hopefully that additional competition does drive prices for the sellers down in Victoria.
Fantastic. Ripley, you're a little bit more like to kind of give us an idea of what you think might be coming. So what do you think is happening with the weaner sales?
It's going to be an interesting one, and Ollie just touched on it. Firstly, that rain and that early break, which is quite unseasonal for the Queenslanders, has been exceptional. I was up there a couple of weeks ago. There's water everywhere, a body of feed starting to come up. The challenge for the weaner sales will be, yes, there's that good rain for the north. The south has been challenged. We know it's had a tough run. Are the Queenslanders prepared to take the punt on the softer southern cattle? Like, they've got to travel quite a long way, a couple of thousand Ks, up to. The freight bill's expensive, and are they prepared to back those southern cattle to perform in that hotter climate and those hotter conditions? I think they will come down and look for cattle, most definitely. The discounts on southern weaners or southern cattle relative to the north at the minute is quite strong, but the freight bill will be impactful, and I still think buyers are going to come with their checkbook, but they're going to have a budget. So they'll know that They've got an amount to spend. They'll walk past that pen if it goes beyond their expectations. The good quality cattle you'll see well into the $4. No worries. Doesn't matter what breed, where they're from. But I think a lot of those northern buyers or buyers north of the Victorian border are going to be looking for those framey, lighter cattle because of that tough season, and they'll be able to grab them at some pretty good rates because of the discount to the northern markets and do another good trade in 2025. We saw a number of blokes do it this year, or a number of buyers do it this year at the 24 weaner sales. It'll happen again, but you'll see money over $4 for the best cattle every day of the week.
And that's already happening at the moment. So are we seeing a lot of these cattle come forward compared to other years, the southern cattle? Or is there still going to be the numbers available in January? Where are we sitting with volume?
I think we'll definitely see you'll still see the same numbers, but there have been examples of producers pushing cattle forward early. There was yardings of 4,000 or 5,000 at Euroa this week. Throughout, Narracourt had a big yarding. Euroa's got another 3,000 heifers next week. So yeah, the numbers are moving forward, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the amount of cattle come forward in January surprise a lot of people. I think there's probably more cattle about, even down south. Might sound controversial, even down south than people probably realise, and I think you'll still be surprised to see some really good numbers. And even a little bit later into the sales at like Carcoar, you know, there'll be 3 or 4 weeks of 10,000 head there each week. So the numbers will be there. It gives buyers a good opportunity for selection, but there's definitely been examples, already that producers have had to push them because they want to lighten off the pressure on their cows and their country.
Fantastic. And to you, Erin, how does MLA cover weaner sales? How do you track all these massive numbers coming through?
Yeah, so historically we've had a bit of a light coverage on those weaner sales. We are looking to improve that. We'll get some officers out to cover some of those southern sales in early January, which is really exciting. We'll have them as some special markets. And then to kind of fill that gap, we've taken a lot of insights and data from our new Beef Producer Intention Survey, which covers different kinds of producers and what their decisions are. And we're pulling that all into a fact sheet which goes around how many weaner producers are there out there, what are their target weights, and where are they located, just to give a bit more information out to producers and all along the supply chain to try fill where we can't.